Allow yourself to change your mind when something no longer suits you. Nedra Glover Tawwab. A gentle breeze blows through the inner garden, rustling the old leaves of habits and beliefs that were once lush and green. It doesn't urge us to tear everything down in a single morning, but softly reminds us that humans, like rivers, cannot forever flow in an old channel if the terrain ahead has changed. There are thoughts that once were a warm coat shielding us through harsh winters, but when spring sunshine arrives, if we still cling tightly to them, we only add burden and suffocation. Allowing yourself to change is not betraying the past, but an act of loving the present where you have grown bigger, understood more, and felt more deeply about life. It demands courage, like daring to let go of the old shore to swim to a wider stretch of river, where the water is clearer and the sky reflects a truer image of yourself. When we accept that not every belief is eternal, not every dream needs to be held to the end, we open space for growth to sprout. Like a tree shedding leaves to nurture new buds, the soul also needs to release thoughts drained of vitality to welcome new light. And in that moment, we realize change doesn't take away our identity, but sharpens it to become clearer, more authentic, and freer. That very flexibility makes the journey of life lighter, full of hope, and brimming with positive energy, where each step brings us closer to the most harmonious version of ourselves. Realizing that you haven't reached the position you desire is the starting point to begin changing your life. Deborah. Realizing that you haven't reached the position you desire is like standing on a hilltop at dawn, when fog still covers the path ahead but sunlight begins to peek on the horizon. That moment doesn't carry the color of failure, but is a gentle awakening bell of awareness, signaling that it's time to adjust our direction. When we dare to look straight at the gap between the present and our dreams, we are gazing into an honest mirror, where there's no room for illusions, only truth and potential waiting to be unlocked. This realization is like a gardener discovering that the old soil has become barren. Instead of blaming, they till the earth again, add fertilizer, and sow new seeds with faith in a more bountiful harvest. It is this awareness of incompleteness that ignites the flame of change, making us stop settling in the comfort zone and begin stepping onto the path of self-improvement. Each small step forward carries hope, like raindrops gradually soaking into parched soil, nurturing the green sprouts of the future. And as we patiently continue, we will understand that the starting point of every upward journey isn't when we're perfectly ready, but when we're awake enough to admit we can be better, turning today's shortcomings into a radiant motivation for tomorrow. Today, someone is sitting in the shade because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Warren Buffett, the enduring connection between past, present, and future. A tree silently takes root in the soil, enduring sun and wind through countless seasons of rain and shine, symbolizing the quiet efforts humans sow when results aren't immediate. The planter from years ago may not have lived to enjoy the lush canopy, but their patience and faith created a cool shelter for those who come after. The law of sowing and reaping in life. Every achievement we enjoy is the crystallization of accumulated efforts, of persistent decisions made in silence. It also gently urges us to become the sower today, even if we're not certain to be the harvester tomorrow. Each good deed, each small effort is like a seed placed deep in the soil, initially invisible but carrying powerful vitality within. Then over the years, as roots grip firmly and branches reach high, it will provide shade for someone weary on their life journey. Realizing this, we suddenly feel lighter, more open-hearted, and filled with motivation to live responsibly toward the future, because who knows, one day, the shade we plant today will become a gentle support for tomorrow's world. Just as nature always embraces every obstacle, any rational human can turn all difficulties into motivation to achieve their goals. Marcus Aurelius. A vast painting of the ever-moving heavens and earth, where storms are not just destruction but also water-nourishing green sprouts rising after drought. Nature has never complained when mountains are eroded by wind or when rivers must bend around jagged rocks. On the contrary, those collisions create fertile valleys and gentler flows over time. Humans, with reason and hearts that know hope, can also learn to embrace challenges as an inevitable part of the growth journey. Each difficulty is like a headwind blowing into the sail, initially causing us to sway, but then helping us hoist the sail stronger, surging faster toward the dream horizon. When we don't avoid adversity but face it head-on, we are transforming pressure into momentum, fear into courage, and failure into valuable lessons. Like a seed that must crack its hard shell to sprout toward the light, humans also need to pass through painful phases to unlock hidden potential within. And in that process, we not only draw closer to our goals, but also become stronger, more mature, and deeper in our view of life. Difficulties thus no longer become walls blocking the path, but turn into invisible steps, lifting us higher with each stride, so that from there we can see the sky of dreams wider and more brilliant than ever. How harmful it is to the soul to worry about the future and suffer even before the pain truly arrives. Ryan Holiday. The shadows of tomorrow are often exaggerated into giant monsters devouring today's peace. When we let our minds wander too far ahead, we unwittingly pull unformed storms to crash directly into our hearts, turning a once serene present into something heavy like the sky before a thunderstorm. That anxiety is like holding an open umbrella in a dry room, waiting for rain that may not fall, only to make ourselves entangled and weary. Instead of living fully with each breath, we squander precious energy on imagined scenarios, where suffering is rehearsed multiple times before it has a chance to happen for real. That doesn't make us stronger, but only gradually erodes the freshness of the soul, like water flowing endlessly over a soft stone, eventually carving a deep, sorrowful dent. We return to the present, the only place where we truly have the right to live and change. When we learn to place trust in each small step today, the future will unfold in a lighter way, less thorny. And in releasing those yet-to-come worries, we rediscover serenity, a form of quiet strength that helps us face every event when it truly arrives, with a steadfast heart and a gaze full of hope.